Evolve doesn't let you hide. This team-focused shooter forces you to face a grotesque monster in each and every match, and should you find it, you can't always flee. Here's the setup. A 4-person team of hunters, each touting very specific talents, is on the prowl. The quarry is a single creature with an appetite for flesh, not just the flesh of the hunters, but for anything that moves. By attacking the wildlife and chomping down on its meat, the monster evolves through 3 stages of being, each more powerful than the last. Clearly, the hunters would rather tear the monster down with the least resistance possible, so finding the creature quickly and destroying it is a good opening goal. Oh, weren't that so easy? Should you join a team of hunters, you rely on a particular squad mate to lead you to the beast. That would be the Trapper, and while you eventually unlock 2 other Trappers to choose from, Evolve smartly taps Maggie as your initial leader. Maggie makes for a good guide through the ins and outs of pursuits because she's not a lone ranger. Instead, she relies on her best friend Daisy, an animal called a Trapjaw that follows the monster's tracks and leads you to its current location. With or without Daisy, the hunting phase captures the essence of a hunt. It's tense, simmering with the possibility of a vicious monster attack at any moment, and like a real-life hunting trip, there might be stretches of boredom. A sneaky monster might crouch to hide its tracks or double back on its own path, thus leaving a confuddling set of paw prints. Even with a veteran crew, Evolve occasionally tips onto the side of boredom. The good news is that hunts don't usually hit the boredom breaking point. There's wildlife to contend with for starters, though you'll ignore most of the critters when possible. Yet you can't always ignore them, either because killing one rewards you with a temporary buff, or because a not actually a rock comes to life and starts chomping on your tasty bits. The world of Sheer isn't hospitable, though humans have certainly tried to tame it. And then the big moment arrives and the foreshadowed attack occurs. Battles are fresh and exciting due to an in-game conspiracy devised by Evolve's many variables. There are the rising plateaus that provide vantage points. There's the Hunter's vast dome, which traps the monster within its confines. And there's the Hunter's own weapons and skills, which damage and limit the monster in various ways. Assault Expert Hyde uses toxic grenades that poison the monster and help drive it to different areas. Support class Robot Bucket drops floating turrets that pelt the monster with bullets. And Tracker Abe slows down the target with stasis grenades. These battles are invariably intense. There are 3 monsters in total: the ground-pounding Goliath, the airborne Kraken, and the Wraith, master of the hit and run. A Goliath battle is typically the most straightforward. The brute attacks head-on, throwing boulders and breathing fire. The battle with the Kraken plays out differently, as this peculiar beast rises above you and spits down lightning. As you can guess, situational awareness wins and loses matches. As you become more experienced, you learn how to exploit Sheer's vertical spaces, using a jetpack to float to better locations, and putting obstacles between you and your flesh-eating stalker. There's no room for a chest-thumping super soldier. If you'd rather be a lone damage dealer, then it's best just to play as the monster. Playing as the monster is deliciously evil, particularly when choosing the Wraith, who can swoop in, grab a hunter, and rush away, depositing the hunter somewhere else in the vicinity. Monstering it up is just as fulfilling as engaging in the hunt, though the pace is different. You spend the early minutes sniffing out the wildlife and satiating your hunger, which not only reinforces your shield, but also brings you that much closer to evolving. Smart play can yield victory if you go after the hunters at stage 1. It's best to avoid the confrontation until you're the biggest bully you always knew you could be. Just as good hunters are constantly in motion, so too is a good monster. The tempo changes considerably when you abandon the core hunt mode and experiment with other possibilities. There's nest mode, for instance, in which the hunters must gun down a half-dozen monster eggs ready to be hatched before the monster annihilates the team. The monster, in turn, can hatch an egg to spawn a minion, which tears through the jungle en route to the pack of hunters. Even at stage 1, following a minion into a war zone is incredibly tempting. Not only does a duo do more damage, but the addition of another combatant can confuse the team of hunters. Defend mode, meanwhile, takes its cues from battle arenas like League of Legends and Dota, tasking hunters with shielding generators while minions spawn onto the map at specified intervals and go on the attack. It's Evolve's most action-packed mode, and as such, it's an appropriate end for the game's Evacuation Mode, which combines 5 matches of varying types into a single big match. The winner of each individual match gains a boon for the next. Monster-targeting turrets might appear in various nooks, for instance. Evolve apparently rebalances matches even as it adds these map gimmicks, so that winning the first match does not initiate a 5-match steamroll. Even so, it's hard to tell whether the behind-the-scenes rebalancing properly matches the gimmick. It's profoundly irritating to deal with those turrets as a monster, for instance, because they might gun down wandering wildlife, not only damaging you if you get too close, but complicating the simple act of eating. Not every gameplay variant in this mode feels as fair as the last.
I got you! Please go!
In-depth internet, extracting energy from morale-boosting vertical.
It's worth noting that Evolve supports bots, which is an all-too uncommon feature, and while the AI reveals its imperfections as time goes on, it's strong enough to make playing offline matches rewarding on its own terms, and bots will fill in for disconnected teammates, or will leap into action should you not be able to find a friend to take that particular role. Whether with friends, strangers, or AI though, it's fun to focus on Evolve's unique brand of greatness. The suspense of the hunt, the exhilaration of battle, and the drive to dominate.